podcast where we put you on the map. This is Ron Costa broadcasting live in the Mappable USA studios here in Las Vegas. And today, folks, we're going to continue on a conversation we have about real estate syndication, a whole bunch of different ways to syndicate properties. And to do that, let's bring in Vicky Hutchmala from the worldtokenmarket.com. Vicky, how are you today?
I'm fabulous today, Ron. Another great day in Vegas. We have an outstanding guest today for our podcast. We're going to tell everybody how to use syndication to raise capital for their business, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and we're going to take it a step further there because a lot of people on this listening to this podcast, if you're an investor, you definitely want to tune into this right now. So let's get into this right away. Let's bring in Daniel Summers from the eVest Marketplace. Daniel, how you doing today?
Hey, Ron. Hey, Vicky. I'm well, thank you. Thank you for asking. I appreciate the opportunity once again to chat with you on your podcast.
Our pleasure, Dan. It's always our pleasure.
Yeah, Dan, as the audience knows, has been a repeat guest on the show many times. We love what he's doing out here. We thought we'd bring him on again. So let's just start the show off again by Dan, explain eVest to our audience, maybe if they haven't heard about you yet.
Oh, sure. It's my pleasure. And be careful what my wife says when I open up the refrigerator and the light goes on. I do 15 minutes, so be careful what you ask for. I'll try to keep it down to a few minutes. I'm an old real estate syndicator. I'm the old traditional guy that spent the $15,000 in 6 weeks of my life yelling at attorneys to hurry up and wait. And as a result, I built up a sizable portfolio, nearly $2 billion of commercial real estate in another lifetime, and subsequently took that company public and retired. And everything was going smooth until, the Jobs Act came around and digital technology, rose up from the dead. And because of that, some tremendous opportunities, were available to me. And as a result, I decided to venture into the syndication industry once again, but more on a technology level than an actual practitioner. So we created eVest technology and synced it up with some of the recent SEC exemptions, namely the Reg D 506C exemption that came to the forefront in 2013. And for those of you that don't know exactly what that means, it's allowed for the general solicitation of securities. So if you remember the old days, you couldn't advertise your deals. You could only talk to friends and family and relatives about investing in your deals. But exactly 80 years in the making, the Securities Act of 1933 got changed around in 2013, and they introduced Reg D and the Reg D 506C. So it now allows for the general solicitation of a security. It's what a real estate syndication is. It's a private offering. However, you're only allowed to accept investors or investments from accredited investors. So, that's a mouthful, but when you marry that with the technology that's now out there, and put the two together, that was a challenge. That was enough to come out of retirement. So, Ron, we took a couple of years, actually, and seven figures to design and develop eVest technology, which actually facilitates the entire syndication process. So the unique part about this thing is that no proprietary information ever changes hands, so no emails changes hands between the sponsor and the investor, no bank account information, the accreditation's internal, the document execution's internal, the PPMs are done within 48 hours, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a very unique process, but once again, it complies with the SEC, and it's becoming very popular. In fact, we're overwhelmed with business. We didn't anticipate the acceptance as immediate as it's become, and we've grown from commercial real estate to the cannabis industry to major motion pictures to operating funds, operating companies, et cetera. So it was a little bit of a jolt from the old real estate days to begin working with millennials and understanding programming and coding and the technology side of things and how that works and marrying that with real estate. So that was the heavy lifting, but we succeeded.
Well, what I love about this, I love about your project, your system, is I love the PPM aspect of it for starters, because it sounds like it kind of eliminates the 50, 60, 70 grand that it costs to do a PPM, and it probably also eliminates the time that it takes to do that as well. So I think those are two big-time considerations for somebody who may want to look at your system over someone else's, right?
Well, it's the two big pain points. So the key to this whole thing for me at least, was to find the pain points, and could I solve for the pain points? So the two pain points are obvious. It's money and time. All right, and I can identify with both because I syndicated for 35 years. And we used to pass the hat at the cathedral and the synagogue and wait, impatiently for PPM after PPM, and writing $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 checks per PPM. It's mind-boggling how much money and time was wasted that now can be done instantly. So we solved for those two issues, and I didn't solve for them. Basically, the SEC solved for part of it, and technology solved for the other part, and it was just a matter of marrying the two. And that's the tough part, man. Traditional real estate guys do not want to embrace technology, and that's just a fact. I mean, you look at me, and I own the company. I still use my HP 12C that I bought out of the Wall Street Journal in 1978 for $289. So I'm a perfect example of the traditionalist.
Why change it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess, but there are reasons to change, Vicki. Thank God. Okay, you just sometimes got to hit them in the face with the change. So that's been the fun. Okay, of creating eVest, is talking to these guys, these syndicators, and I've got a real thick Rolodex, as you can imagine, being in the space for so many years, and talking to them and saying, no, Dan, my lawyer says we still have to get that PPM, and my lawyer says that we cannot advertise, and my lawyer, it's not. So, I say thank you for your time. By the way, I'm going to send you a couple of links. And I send them a couple of links to some SEC regs and some articles, et cetera. And the next thing you know, I've got a friend for life. We've replaced the heavy lifting that traditionally I did, for 30 years. It took me over 10 years to create my portfolio, and I could do it, in 3 years and 90%, 95% cheaper today with my own technology and the SEC's playbook.
Wow. So do you think that this is one of the reasons why syndication is a better option for raising capital for businesses?
Oh, no doubt. Vicki, it's become so easy. Here's another key thing that most people don't realize, and I'm aging myself, but I was originally licensed with the NASD, which is now FINRA, and registered with the SEC back in 1986. And the rules for accreditation are the same today as it was back then. That's a long time ago. Yeah. So if you think about that in today's terms, there are so many prospective investors out there, so many that qualify today versus back in the day when I was out there slinging real estate, that the syndication process, A, works, B, because the technology is almost instantaneous. 3, you've got the ability to put a banner behind your citation 2 and fly it across the beach in South Ponte Vedra, Florida, announcing the offering of your new shopping center development. Okay, you go to jail for that, before 2012 and 13. Today you can do that. So the industry and the SEC has made it incredibly easy to raise capital.
What about the security aspects of using your platform?
Well, since we complied with Reg D 506C, okay, there really aren't any compliance issues because within my technology, we have a gateway. And the gateway is on the front end of the gateway, people can look at our digital PPM that we put together for our clients free of charge. And they can go ahead and pledge and say, I promise to invest $100,000 as long as I get accredited. So they go through that process, and then they promise to invest $100,000, and the next step is to get accredited. So an investor cannot move forward and fund their investment until they go through the internalized, automated accreditation process. So if they're not accredited, so they're asked to send in their financial statement or tax return, and if they are indeed accredited, and we use a third-party validation company, it's kind of the 800-pound gorilla in this space, and if they are not accredited, they're not allowed to move forward. If they are accredited, they're prompted to move forward. So right there, any apprehension regarding compliance issues has gone out the window. I have compliance attorneys on the phone every single week saying, "Are you sure? Show me why are you compliant?" And I take them through a demo, and about the first 10% of my demo gets them to the accreditation process. I take them through it, and they say, "Stop, we're good. You comply.
Yeah.
No worries." And any argument or debate regarding compliance issues now go out the window. There's no issue. And you can thank the SEC for that.
Yeah, Dan,
well, and that makes the company feel great, too, because now they know that they're dealing with actual accredited investors, and it gives them a little security themselves to know that their project's getting
spot on.
money,
you're
actual
spot on.
money, not promises.
Absolutely. Any liability they have has gone out the window. Now they're dealing with someone that can actually invest in their deal rather than time wasters, tire kickers. You know that exercise. We've lived with it all our lives. But now you've got a legitimate investor that likes your deal, went through the process of getting accredited. You got a hot body now to invest.
Yeah. And Dan, how does this relate to the KYC AML? Is that the same type of process?
Well, no, KYC AML is for non-domestic investors. So within our site, you are either a U.S. citizen, a U.S. resident, or not. If you are a U.S. citizen and resident, you go through the accreditation process. If you're not, you go through the AML KYC process. So we're now we've grown, 10,000 times faster than we ever anticipated. So we're now in the world of EB2, EB5 money, non-U.S. Private equity funds. We're marketing outside of the United States. So we have learned to now file not only Reg D, but also Reg S. It's kind of a companion deal. And a lot of legal intricacies that we have spent the time, energy, and money to investigate and now integrate into our software. So now there is an actual process to accept non-domestic investments into our domestic offerings. And it's a very tedious. Now I know why most people don't do it. 99% of the syndicators in the United States don't do this because of the intricacies. But when it's boiled down, if you've got good legal counsel and good accounting counsel, it's a pretty simple process. But
well, in light of the economic,
two different things.
In light of the economic situation in America, I would think there's a lot of foreign money that wants to come into it, and
oh my God.
You can create the wheel to allow that to happen. Just expands the opportunities.
Well, the opportunity is staggering. As an example, one EB5 company, actually the largest in the United States called First Pathway, they brought in $2 billion alone last year, and the year before $1 billion. Yeah, and it just so happens the CEO/founder and I were football teammates back in the day, and we reunited through his son, who's a client, and I flew up to Milwaukee, and I spent days with them and their team putting this program together. So just that unto itself has magnified our capabilities 100-fold. So it's kind of fun because we're doing things that have never been done before. Okay, we've legitimized the digital syndication process. We've reduced costs by 95%, time to market by 95%. The exposure to prospective investors through our marketplace is, exponentially favorable for our clients because thousands upon thousands of investors flood to our marketplace looking for alternative investments, and they find it on the eVest marketplace. So that's something we're growing as we speak, Ron and Vicki. That's a way for us to market our clients' offerings via an eVest portal.
Well,
Right.
When Ron and I went through the demonstration of your platform, it was fabulous because it was so user friendly, it was so easy, and it was like I can't imagine why anybody wouldn't want to use your services, Dan, because as I said, they're just absolutely user friendly and they work easily.
That's the heavy lifting, Vicki. You know, I could see it in my mind's eye what I wanted, but that was like, you know, years away from coming to fruition. So the heavy lifting was bringing in the right programmers, and we did. They all live here and work here in Jacksonville for eVest, and we built it from scratch. And the cost is amazing. The time was staggering, but line item by line item, me having to explain and visualize to programmers, okay, what an internal rate of return is, or how do you get a return on investment, and how does this capital stack affect this? So being able to interpret day-to-day business verbiage to programmers that sit with headphones on and work, you know, from midnight till noon every day, it was difficult. But after 18-plus months, we hit a home run. We didn't come to market too early. I knew what I wanted because keep in mind, I'm a practitioner, so I knew what needed to work. I didn't have any shiny things for investors to follow. It's all a breadcrumb process. Follow the breadcrumbs, and you know, investors never leave the portal to invest. You know, they're not going to the Wells Fargo online banking to invest. It's all internalized. To send an email, no one's trading email addresses. Even the payment processing is done internal, so sponsors utilize my portal to send the dividends via ACH automatically. No one's writing checks. No one's wiring funds. Everything's done automatically. Yeah.
Well, that's what makes it so user friendly, and so and it's communication, putting together the right team, and having the vision of knowing where you're going is what allows people like yourself, Dan, to change the world. And there's nothing better than changing the world and creating something special, which you have done, absolutely.
Well, Vicki, like I said, when we started chatting today, the idea was to find a pain point, okay? And there's a lot of pain points out in the world. The second part of the equation was, is there a solution?
Right.
So in my world, my myopic world of real estate, it's all I know since 1976, for Pete's sakes. In my world, I was able to, you know, two big pain points in real estate is time and money. There's no magic there. The magic was solving for it. And the SEC has allowed me to solve for it, and technology has allowed me to facilitate that solution easily, readily, as you said, you know, very seamlessly, easy to use. Guys like me that do not have degrees in computer science are able to go to my technology and utilize it. And we don't even force it down our clients' throats. The one thing we do that basically we're one of a kind. No one else has this kind of technology. Not that we're that smart. It's just that I hit a grand slam because I'm in this space and I know this space. But at the end of the day, I was able to identify the solution and drive it home. So guys like me that don't know technology, eVest technology gives them a customer service rep that does everything for them. They don't even know they don't have to know how to upload a photo or a document. Okay, it's done for you. So you're given a complete checklist. Here's the breadcrumbs, guys. Here's 40 breadcrumbs. Follow the breadcrumbs, send in these documents, these photos, you know, et cetera, and we'll upload it. So when you go to eVestmarketplace.com, you'll see the results of our customer service reps. They actually create those deals that are hosted there. So we've got Bruce Willis major motion pictures on there. We've got cannabis farms on there. We've got $50 million funds on there. We've got hotel development, self-storage development, et cetera. Our customer service people create that from ground up. So that branding for each client is separate unto itself. And eVest doesn't show up anywhere. It's a marketplace that investors can go to, and they can invest directly into our clients' offerings. There's no fees. So we're really replacing the Merrill Lynches of the world and registered investment advisors. So no one's getting charged any fees. We don't even charge our sponsors, our clients, fees when investors invest. It's strictly a licensed relationship. So we're replacing those third-party investment advisors.
Right. It's an investor's dream basically right now. And your platform has really exploded so much since the last time we had you on the podcast. A couple of questions, though. One is, when an investor invests on one of the projects that's on the eVest marketplace, what is their proof of ownership? Do they get a certificate, or how do they prove ownership into the
Great question. So anytime you invest into a private offering, you're investing into an LLC. Okay, so there is an operating agreement and there's a subscription agreement. The operating agreement are actually, let's just call it the bylaws on how the sponsor agrees to run the property, run the asset. In the event of a death or bankruptcy, in the event of when are you rolling it up, when are you finished with the value add. It's the rules of the road and how this property is going to be run, the LLC is going to be run. Now, for an investor to join that, they sign a subscription agreement, and they're just subscribing to that LLC. And the LLC runs pursuant to the operating agreement. Those are two separate documents. And we actually give our clients those two separate documents free of charge. So our SEC attorneys have put together tremendous operating and subscription templates that are applicable to, guys that fix and flip houses every month to $50 million funds run by New York City investment advisors. And we've got everything in between as clients. And 9 out of 10 of those clients use our operating and subscription agreements. And once again, like I said, they're templates. They're applicable to any industry. It's fill in the blanks. 9 out of 10 of our clients use them. But it's just one more feature that we bring to the party. I wanted to bring everything to the party, Ron. I didn't want to upcharge for this, upcharge for that. I wanted to bring everything to the party, so you got nothing else. There's nothing else you got to buy. There's nothing else you got to do. All right, you're going to raise capital for an ice cream franchise. Okay, you can raise capital on my platform. By the way, here's all the documents. And by the way, we're going to put it on the marketplace and help you raise money. And by the way, here's your PPM. And by the way, it's all here, man. You're not calling attorneys or CPAs asking them to do anything for you unless you want to.
Yeah, that's great. It's great. So theoretically, from a completely theoretical perspective, really anyone, you pick somebody off the street, they could just be a syndicator using your system then, and everything would be in-house, and they would be able to go ahead and move. Now, granted, not everyone has the skills to do that, but theoretically, that could be possible, right? You have everything at a syndicator's fingertips here.
100% accurate. Okay, you do not have to be a seasoned syndicator to present a professionally presented offering. We've taken every precaution. We've taken every bit of downside, if you will, and gotten rid of that. And it's a very simple follow the breadcrumb process to present your offering. So you get your checklist, you send the information into your service rep, and they do the creation, the logo, the colors, the bank information, the social media, all that's created. And then when they start creating their offering, the ice cream franchisee that needs to raise money, $200,000 for their first location or whatever, it's all there. So you'll get a list of what's the name of the franchise, okay, what's the location of the franchise, send us some pictures of the franchise, what's your offering, et cetera, and then they will do the actual design and creation of the offering. It's all done for you.
Great.
It's copy paste, man. It's copy paste.
Yeah, and I have one more question before we get to break some exciting news here. on these listings on the eVest marketplace, do they expire? Is there some kind of expiration date, or how long does a venture have to raise the money that they're looking to raise?
Well, keep in mind, it's a good question. It's asked often. So keep in mind what we are. Okay, keep that in perspective. We are the technology. We're the engine behind the scenes. So we do not dictate deal terms. We don't dictate returns, capital stacks, deal design, etc. So we have no insight input into actual deal structure. So that's one way to answer the question. The other way to answer the question is the better the sponsor, the better the opportunity, the higher the yields, are, the faster they're going to be able to raise the capital. It's one of those depends kind of answers. It depends on how good the sponsor is. So, in this last couple of weeks, we've had some opportunities that just shocked me. We had a $13.5 million student housing development, raise that money in less than a week with one equity fund. But the sponsors are unbelievably experienced. It was a great deal, great location. The deal structure was tremendous. And then we've had deals on there that were, 90 days. Why? Because, the sponsors weren't as seasoned. Okay, the metrics aren't as good as the next couple of deals. So, it depends. And I can't dictate length or the time, et cetera. It's up to the sponsors to make that happen.
I'll bet the sponsorship for me to go on the pro golfing tour probably wouldn't sell out very fast.
Actually, they're languishing. about as bad as mine.
I know we're kind of pressed for time in this podcast today, so let's get to some exciting news here, Dan. Tell us about this press release that you guys just shot out the other day. This is really amazing stuff. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it was amazing. We got picked up by Morningstar, Forbes, et cetera. I mean, it was just the national exposure was staggering. So it was really the announcement, the rollout of the marketplace, and the fact that alternative investments are available at no cost to investors. So investors can actually go to eVestmarketplace.com and they can, let's just say they've got $50,000 to invest. They can look at a cannabis deal. They can look at a hotel development deal. They can look at an operating company or a fund, and spread that $50,000 over a couple of deals and not have to pay any fees for it. Right? So it's really it's a buffet, if you will. It's a menu of opportunities that people can actually sit down and peruse, and they can look at the sponsors. Who are they? What's their experience? What's the deal look like? Look at videos, et cetera. So it's a chance at your own individual's timeline to sit at your kitchen table and peruse these different kind of deals. So you've got everything from, like I said, major motion picture investments to real estate development down in New Mexico and Boise, Idaho, and Ponte Vedra, Florida. And, there might not be anything that suits your interest today. Go back on it in 3 days. You're going to see 50 different types of deals. So they go up and they go down constantly. But at the end of the day, it's a one of a kind because we're not charging the sponsors. Okay, we're just hosting the deals, and the investors aren't having to pay any kind of investment advisor. It's one-on-one. They can email the sponsor directly, and get responses back from the developer. So, you've got a guy that's got a $50 million fund in New York City, and you want to know something, you have a question about it, you can email him directly right from the portal, and he'll get back to you. Believe me, he'll get back to you within hours. So at the end of the day, it's really it's a one-of-a-kind investment portal that offers all different types of real estate alternative investments. So not only real estate, obviously, but many other industries, and from franchises to operating funds, et cetera. So it's a great opportunity. We're bringing it to the market now. We market the heck out of the marketplace just because if our clients are successful, we're successful. So we drive traffic every single month to that marketplace. And I can tell you, because we look at the analytics, we get thousands upon thousands of investors visiting that site every single month. And I know it gets a lot of traction. We've seen a lot of success on that marketplace.
No, it's great. It's great. And can investors invest in you? Is eVest available?
No. We had a Series A We closed it out. Closed out real fast.
Okay.
Real fast, and we're on track. We're about almost a year ahead of schedule. This company goes public in another 3.5 years, so we're a little bit ahead of schedule. Glad to say, and we're very cautious. We throw nickels around like manhole covers, but having done this once before, I get it. About a 30-year-old kid driving a Tesla, with 3 Teslas.
Yeah.
All right. So this time around, we're very careful with our growth. It's very simple, very easy to get overwhelmed, which we have been. So we pull the reins back a little bit and make sure that we're still steering in the right direction, going north. And just take our time to absorb the fact that, for today we're unique. 6 months from now, we might not be unique. So every month, every 2 months, we're adding new features. We're enhancing it, upgrading it, thinking of new ideas. Our clients get back to us and say, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? And if it makes sense, yeah, we do it. And we don't upcharge for it. Yeah. We just make our site better. That's the key to this thing. Make it better.
That's great. Is there any kind of industry or company that you would say this isn't really what you should do, that eVest really can't help you, you need to go someplace else, or is it pretty universal?
Well, Vicki, it's a great question, by the way. It's a terrific one. Let me answer it for you. So eVest is not a crowdfunding company, all right? If you're looking for someone to raise your capital for you, eVest Technology is not your company, okay? However, there's always a however. However, we have something that no one else has, and that's the marketplace. So if we were just a technology company, that's one thing, okay? I get it. We're not going to raise your money. I don't take any obligations or responsibilities for doing it. However, we have the marketplace, so we feature your deals on the marketplace. We do not get paid one iota, one nickel, if any of our visitors to the marketplace invest. So if you're looking for a crowdfunding company, we're not your company. If you're looking for a real high-end technology platform to help syndicate your capital, take care of all the intricacies, legalese issues, et cetera, accounting issues, we're that company. But the added oomph to it is the fact that we have the marketplace, and the marketplace does generate traction. Equally as important, we don't charge for that. It's just an additional feature that we offer.
Well, because I was just wondering, Ron and I do a lot of work with opportunity zones, and I'm wondering if somebody who has an opportunity zone fund could use your platform to enhance their investments in their fund.
Well, if you go to our site right now, you'll see 3 or 4 opportunity zone deals on there. Oh. And that $13 million raise for that student housing was an actual opportunity fund. So we do a lot of opportunity fund capital, have a lot of opportunity funds as clients. So it's ideal for them.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
because
how about that? That's great.
Some opportunity zone investors may not be accredited investors, but just have capital gains to invest in something. That wouldn't get in the way of being able to use your fund in any way.
No, it does. It does. You have to be accredited in order to fund that investment, whether it's a capital gains or not. So the caveat to this entire discussion is our site is 100% compliant with Reg D 506C, which allows for general solicitation. However, only accredited investors can indeed invest. But I will suggest to you that there's 1,000 times more investors that qualify today as did 20 years ago, because the benchmarks haven't changed. They're still the same. So it's still $200,000 in income or $1 million net worth outside of your primary residence. And
well, which back to saying that, be it an opportunity zone fund or any other kind of business or industry, having the accredited investor is better all the way around.
Absolutely. You're giving, not to discredit non-accredited, but it's a different type of investor versus the $500 investor or the $2,000 investor. If you could write a check for $50,000, you could probably afford to write that check for $50,000 because you are indeed accredited. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the benchmark. That's the benchmark.
Well, and there's a certain amount of sophistication that comes with accredited as well, I would think.
Well, if you're making that kind of money or have that kind of net worth, it's just anticipated that you do have a certain level of investment sophistication.
And Dan, investors aside, I'm sure there may be syndicators or would-be syndicators, would-be sponsors that may want to see a demo of this platform, like you gave myself and Vicky. How would they contact you to get that done, to get a demo?
Easy.
Get more information?
So you can contact us through the website, which is eVestTech.com. So you request a demo there. You can reach out to me at dsummers, SUMMERS, at eVestTech.com. Or you can call me directly. I own the company, but amazingly, I'm still on the phone 7 days a week with clients, existing clients, new clients. This is all customer-based. So I'm on the phone constantly discussing regs and marketing ideas, et cetera. So they can reach out to me on the phone, 904-501-7693, or get me through the website of eVestTech.com.
Yeah, and then one last question, circling back to what you said your wife said earlier. How do we know that the refrigerator light goes off when you close the door?
I'm never going to find that out, my friend, because she wouldn't open up the door to let me out. I've been married 43 years to the same lady, so I know what my limits are. I have guardrails.
There you go. All right. Well, listen, Daniel, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. We're running up against the hard stop here today, and we know you're really busy. But once again, I mean, you did a great job today. There's so much information out there. This is so important for investors and syndicators alike. You seem to hit every single topic in this platform of yours, and we appreciate you taking the time out to talk to our audience today.
Well, as you know, it's always my pleasure to get you and Vicky on the phone. I just enjoy the discussions. I love listening to you guys. You guys are terrific. You've got a lot of energy in your voice, and I just love being with people like you. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Great,
and
thank
I
you.
would just say one last thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Such a pleasure and an honor to speak with you, Dan, because it's so energizing to speak with somebody who has a vision and takes it to the next level and creates something that changes the world and makes it better for everybody, wherever you're coming from. And that's just special for us, and I thank you for it. And you've done a fabulous job with eVest.
Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. I truly do. Yeah. Honest to God, I try. I really like what I do. I don't have to do anything anymore. I really like this because I like talking to these guys. These very sophisticated guys to the non-sophisticated guys, and it's like the light went off, like a deer in the headlights. You mean I really don't have to do that? I can actually advertise my deal. That's the cool part, and I enjoy the heck out of it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, it's like
appreciate the opportunity.
It only took 30 years to be an overnight success, right? That's the old line.
Willie Nelson.
Excellent. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
All right, everyone. You're listening to the Mappable USA podcast at mappableusa.com. Go to that website, scroll down, you'll see all our syndication sources. Click the one you like best so you never miss another episode. And if you want to be a guest on the show like Dan was today, there's a guest tab there. Just click on that, fill out the form, and we'll see what we can do about getting you on the show. So thank you all for listening. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you next time on another Mappable USA podcast. Have a great week, everyone.